Majority Leader Eric Cantor joins us this morning, I believe from Virginia. Leader Cantor, good to have you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's talk about the number this morning. I'm guessing it probably wasn't as good as you'd like to see it, but your overall reaction to the number?
Well, Carl, I mean, clearly the number was a slight improvement over last month. It certainly wasn't what we hoped to be, but a little bit of optimism perhaps. But the fact is, you know, we've got unemployment that is just terribly high right now. We've got manufacturing that is too weak, and we've got consumer spending that is down. And you know, people are really hurting out there across the country. And so what we've got to be about in Washington is to promote policies that are about all growth all the time. And I'm hopeful that we can get back on that track and trying to address the real problems here, which right now in America, it's just too hard to create a business and to create jobs. We've got to make that easier.
A couple op-eds today which sort of hint at the gridlock that we're looking at for the months to come. Here's the Journal op-ed. The Keynesians have fired all their ammo. Maybe now President Obama should consider everything he's done to revive the American economy and do the opposite. And then there's Krugman, of course, going to the other end of the spectrum to turn this disaster around. A lot of people are going to have to admit to themselves, at least, that they've been wrong. Where is the compromise in any of this?
Well, the compromise needs to be focused on growth. All of us want to see more jobs. All of us want to see that America can once again do what it does best, which is to innovate and to create jobs and lead. And right now, if you look at the numbers, the startup businesses in America, the ability for manufacturing to succeed here, to create jobs class, is just not there. And so we've got to take a real look at what we can do in Washington, number one, to remove the regulatory burdens that are in the way of entrepreneurs and investors so that jobs can be created again. And we've got to look at the policies that actually affect small business people in the middle class. We've got this debt ceiling issue to continue to deal with for sure. And I would tend to align myself with the fact that the president, who continues to say that he wants to work with us, to take a look at where we are. I mean, right on the day that he signed the agreement this week, after all we've been through, he begins to advocate for higher taxes and more stimulus spending. Now, I would say that sort of we've been there, done that. So if nothing else, if he doesn't agree, let's at least try something else.
Well, Mr. Cantor, Jim Cramer here. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Jim.
Good morning. One of the things that I hear you say, obviously you're very concerned about unemployment, which I think is spot on. So I imagine, therefore, you are certainly for extending unemployment benefits given the chaotic situation for most of the workforce.
Jim, the most important thing we can do for somebody who's unemployed is to see if we can get them a job. I mean, that's what needs to be the focus. For too long in Washington now, we've been worried about pumping up the stimulus monies, pumping up unemployment benefits, and to a certain extent, you've got states in which you can get unemployment for almost 2 years. And I think those people on unemployment benefits would rather have a job. And so that's where our focus needs to be.
I just want to be very, very clear. On a day when we have a good unemployment number, that's terrific, but not a great one, and you confirm not a great one, you are not in favor and will go against the president's wishes to extend those unemployment benefits.
What I have said all along, Jim, if we're going to spend money in Washington, we better start to make choices, and we've got to set priorities. So if you're going to spend more money, we better cut money somewhere else. That's been the whole difficulty all along in this debt ceiling debate as well, because when we started this debate, the Speaker of the House said we were going to make sure that if we're going to raise the debt ceiling, we were going to find commensurate cuts elsewhere. And the same would go for additional spending on unemployment. We've got to make sure that we stop spending money we don't have so we don't have to continue this kind of borrowing. Focus on where we've got to focus, Jim, and that's on growing this economy. We got to make it easy again to do what America does best, which is to innovate and create jobs. It's just too difficult right now.
And Mr. Cantor, just to take the other side of this, I understand you said before the been there, done that approach. We tried it. It may not be working. At the same time, in today's jobs report, one bright spot was private sector hiring, which was up 154,000. Something is working. Can you concede that, or do you think that really we should abandon course right now?
Well, I said when I first started that these numbers were better than expected. They're a slight improvement over last month, but I don't think anybody's going to sit here and jump for joy to say we are out of the clear and out of the woods and this is a great number. I mean, we've got a long way to go. I mean, if you go out across this country and you see people are hurting right now. You've got small businesses trying to make it from month to month. You've got working families in the middle class who are having difficulty paying their bills. I mean, the fact is, food prices are up, gas prices are too high. We've got to start focusing on what makes America what it is, and that is innovation and job growth. Washington has now, through regulatory burdens, through tax policies, and frankly, a litigation environment, made it so unattractive to even start a business here, much less create more jobs. We've got to address that fundamental problem, and I hope that'll be our focus, and we can all come together, cast aside the differences, and make sure that that's a priority.
Leader Cantor, good to have you with us on an important day. Appreciate the time.